Now, batteries can't replace diesel, but new technologies with ammonia are emerging, and big money is pouring into the startups at the helm.
The automotive world is on the brink of a revolution, and GM's CEO has just made a bold claim that's shaking the industry to its core.
We have also made a number of personnel decisions. Some of these were tough calls. I'm sure you can appreciate this.
With a groundbreaking new engine in development, the GM CEO says it has the potential to completely upend the entire car industry as we know it. Even seasoned experts in the industry were taken aback by the performance capabilities of this new engine. What could have made it so powerful that it's looking to bring an end to the automotive giants we've known for decades? Join us as we explore the details. The growth of GM in the automobile market. General Motors, commonly known as GM, is one of the largest car manufacturers in the world, producing a wide range of vehicles under its well-known brands like GMC, Chevrolet, Cadillac, and Buick. Though GM might not always grab headlines like some of the flashier automakers, it remains a dominant force in the industry. In fact, GM was the top-selling car manufacturer in North America in 2022, proof of the company's influence in the industry. A big part of GM's success comes from its ability to offer solid, reliable vehicles across its various brands. Chevrolet, for instance, has become synonymous with powerful engines and durable trucks, while Cadillac stands for luxury and Buick for comfort. These sub-brands combine their sales figures under GM's umbrella, so the company consistently ranks high on the sales charts. GM's history is full of partnerships and acquisitions of other car brands. Over the years, GM has owned several well-known names, including Daewoo, Geo, Hummer, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Saab, and Saturn. While some of these brands have been retired, their legacy lives on in the cars and engines GM has built. Each of these brands has contributed to GM's reputation for producing various vehicles, from everyday commuter cars to rugged off-roaders and luxurious sedans. Not all of GM's vehicles have been hits, of course. Like any car maker, GM has had its share of missteps. One notable example is the Chevy Vega, which featured an aluminum engine notorious for reliability problems. Many of the engine's flaws were considered irreparable, which tarnished the model's reputation. However, such failures are part of any long-standing company's story, and GM has also produced some of the world's most reliable and respected engines. Now, under the leadership of its current CEO, Mary Barra, GM is clearly aiming to prove that it is not only the automaker of past generations. It continues to develop new technologies, constantly pushing the boundaries of what engines can do. Over the years, the automotive landscape has changed, with increased demand for fuel efficiency, lower emissions, and higher performance. GM has met these challenges by producing engines that balance power with efficiency, keeping the company relevant in a competitive industry. But which of GM's latest engines may destroy all competition? We'll get to that. But first, let's discuss the features that make a car engine great. GM's Chevrolet's reputation with outstanding engines. A car engine might seem like a complicated piece of machinery, but it simply converts the energy from fuel into the power that moves the car. Internal combustion engines, ICEs, are still the most common type of car engine today. However, electric and hybrid engines are becoming more prominent as the industry moves toward greener technologies. When discussing car engines, performance and efficiency are key factors. Horsepower and torque are the main metrics used to gauge how powerful an engine is. Horsepower refers to the engine's ability to do work over time, while torque measures the rotational force that helps the vehicle accelerate. Engines with higher horsepower and torque offer better performance, especially in terms of acceleration and towing capacity. Meanwhile, fuel efficiency, which is measured in miles per gallon or liters per 100 kilometers, determines how far a vehicle can go on a given amount of fuel. A well-maintained engine not only boosts performance, but also reduces fuel consumption and lowers emissions. Among its many brands, Chevrolet has become a favorite among car enthusiasts for delivering high-performance engines at reasonable prices. Its history of creating impressive engines dates back to the company's founding in 1911. Though it started as an independent automaker, it became part of General Motors in 1918, adding its expertise to one of the largest automotive giants in the world. From the beginning, Chevrolet's mission was to produce vehicles that were affordable without sacrificing quality. This goal was innovative at a time when cars were largely seen as luxuries for the wealthy. By making cars accessible to more people, Chevrolet played a significant role in shaping the future of the automobile industry. One of its most popular engines is the small block V8. This engine, first introduced in the 1950s, remains one of the most widely used engines to this day. Whether it's powering a muscle car, a full-size SUV like the Tahoe or Suburban, or even a heavy-duty pickup truck, the Chevy small block V8 has proven to be versatile and dependable. It's been around for more than 50 years, and car enthusiasts continue to restore and modify these engines for use in classic cars. The engine's combination of power and reliability has made it an icon in automotive history. The small block V8 is so deeply embedded in American car culture that it's even been referenced in music, like in songs from the Ramones, Prince, and Don McLean. The engine powered many of the classic cars celebrated in those songs, reinforcing its cultural significance. Another of Chevrolet's groundbreaking moves was the introduction of the Powerglide transmission, also in the 1950s. This was the first fully automatic transmission available in a low-priced car, giving drivers an easier, more comfortable experience behind the wheel. There are more examples of Chevrolet's forward-thinking approach, including the 1935 Chevrolet Carryall Suburban, one of the world's first SUVs, showing that the brand has long understood the need for vehicles that combine space, utility, and power. Today, if you're looking for an engine from Chevrolet, you'll find plenty of options because Chevy's engines have always been known for their reliability and performance. However, none have reached the sheer power of their latest creation, the ZZ6321000 Big Block V8. The ZZ632 is a crate engine, and crate engines are designed for enthusiasts, such as hot rodders and racers, who need something more powerful for their personal projects. While these enthusiasts could build their own engines from scratch, crate motors provide a convenient alternative. These engines come pre-assembled, often mostly complete, and are shipped directly to the buyer in a crate. All that's required is to install the engine into the vehicle of choice. The beauty of crate engines lies in the balance they strike between buying and building. It offers a shortcut, combining the benefits of expert engineering and the convenience of an off-the-shelf product. It's a time saver that still provides high levels of performance. Now that we understand why crate motors are already game changers, let's look at what makes the ZZ632 stand out. The amazing engineering of the ZZ632. What makes the ZZ632 so special? For starters, it is the largest crate engine Chevrolet has ever built, with a displacement of 632 cubic inches, which translates to roughly 10.35 liters. To give this context, most modern cars have engines between 2.0 and 3.5 liters in size, making the ZZ632 a massive powerhouse. The engine is based on the same iron block as the ZZ572, a popular high-performance engine, but with some crucial modifications to increase its displacement and performance. Chevrolet lengthened the stroke of the ZZ632 by 0.375 inches, which, combined with other tweaks, allows the engine to produce enormous amounts of power. To accommodate the increased stroke, Chevrolet also had to redesign parts of the engine block and connecting rods. The result is a powertrain that dwarfs even other legendary engines, like Mopar's 426 cubic inch Elephant or Ford's 7.3-liter Godzilla engine. The ZZ632 isn't just big though, it's also one of the most powerful, naturally aspirated engines in the world. It produces a staggering 1,004 horsepower and 876 pound-feet of torque, outclassing Chevrolet's previous powerhouse, the ZZ572, by an impressive 277 horsepower. It produces this level of power while running on regular 93-octane pump gas. This is made possible by the engine's high 12:0:1 compression ratio, which allows it to extract more energy from each combustion cycle. The technical features of the ZZ632 showcase the precision engineering behind this engine. At its heart is a CNC machined cast iron block with a bore of 4.6 inches and a tall deck height of 10.20 inches, which ensures durability under the extreme stress of high-performance use. The block is reinforced with 4-bolt main caps and features a one-piece rear main seal, all designed to withstand the immense power generated by the engine. Its hydraulic roller camshaft, crafted from billet steel, provides both strength and smooth operation. The rotating assembly of the ZZ632 is also a masterpiece in itself. It features a forged 4,340 steel crankshaft with a 4.7 5-inch stroke, which provides the necessary strength and durability for high-performance applications. The forged steel H-beam connecting rods and forged aluminum 2618 alloy pistons ensure that the engine can withstand the immense pressures generated during operation. This assembly is also internally balanced, meaning that it maintains smooth operation even at high speeds and under extreme conditions. This is crucial in high-performance engines, where imbalances can lead to wear and damage over time. The ZZ632's camshaft and valve train are equally impressive. The billet steel hydraulic roller camshaft is designed for precise timing, ensuring that the engine's valves open and close at just the right moments for optimal performance. Forged aluminum 1.8:1 shaft-mounted roller rocker arms provide additional durability, allowing the engine to operate smoothly under the extreme demands of racing and high-performance driving. Adding to the engine's cutting-edge design is the inclusion of electronic fuel injection, EFI, a first for a GM big block crate engine. Previously, carburetors were standard on engines like the ZZ572, but EFI provides much more precise fuel delivery, improving both performance and efficiency. The system uses 8-port injectors, a 4500-style throttle body, and billet aluminum fuel rails to ensure that the engine gets the exact amount of fuel it needs at any given moment. This not only enhances performance, but also helps the engine maintain efficiency under various driving conditions. The ignition system has also been modernized, borrowing technology from Chevrolet's LS engines. The ZZ632 uses a crank-triggered coil near-plug setup which replaces the traditional distributor used in earlier big block engines, like the ZZ572. This system improves ignition timing accuracy and reliability, further contributing to the engine's overall performance and durability. Another remarkable aspect of this engine is that it delivers all of its power on pump gas, without the need for power adders like turbochargers or superchargers. It's a naturally aspirated engine, meaning it relies solely on its own mechanical components to generate power. It also has a maximum recommended rev range of 7,000 revolutions per minute, which, while not as high as some other racing engines, is perfectly suited to its design. According to Chevrolet's dynamometer testing, the engine produces 600 pound-feet of power at just 3,000 RPM, and reaching its peak of 876 pound-feet at 5,600 RPM. Perhaps most impressively, once the engine hits 600 pound-feet of power at 3,000 RPM, it never drops below that level all the way up to its 7,000 RPM red line. This proves that the engine delivers consistent, high levels of power throughout its entire operating range. The ZZ632 also includes several practical features that make it more versatile. It has provisions for a mechanical fuel pump and is equipped with a passenger-side dipstick and drilled and tapped mechanical clutch linkage. Its iconic orange powder-coated steel 8-quart oil pan not only adds durability to the high-performance engine. Though the ZZ632 is designed for performance, it's primarily intended for racing. With its immense size and power, it's likely to violate emissions laws in many states, meaning it won't be street legal in most places. Chevrolet has rigorously tested the engine, simulating 200 drag strip runs on an engine dynamometer to ensure its durability. The ZZ632 passed these tests with flying colors, proving it's more than capable of handling the intense demands of racing. One of the key innovations that sets the ZZ632 apart from other big block engines is its symmetrical port design. Traditional big block engines often have varying port shapes to accommodate push rods and head bolts, which can lead to inconsistencies in power delivery. In the ZZ632, all 8 aluminum cylinder heads feature identical intake and exhaust ports, ensuring uniform power output across all cylinders. These RSX design raised spread port aluminum heads are equipped with titanium valves and 449 cubic centimeter intake runners, providing airflow of 481 cubic feet per minute at 0.781 inches of valve lift. This level of engineering precision is what allows the ZZ632 to achieve such extraordinary performance figures. But who are the people behind the innovation of this grand engine? Let's delve into that. The engineer behind the remarkable ZZ632 innovation. The ZZ632's cylinder heads were designed by Ron Sperry, a Chevrolet performance engineer, and the RS in the RSX head design is a tribute to him. These symmetrical heads represent a significant advancement in big block engine design, and their larger size, paired with a 70 cubic centimeter combustion chamber, allows the engine to move more air, which is key to its incredible power output. Ron Sperry, a seasoned General Motors engineer, is credited with developing the symmetrical ported heads that were first seen on the Gen 3 LS1 engine, which debuted in the 1997 Chevrolet Corvette. These heads marked a significant step forward in engine design, contributing to the Corvette's high performance and earning a reputation among car enthusiasts for their efficiency. This same innovative thinking led to the development of the ZZ632 Big Block V8, which is the truly impressive engine that stands at the pinnacle of Chevrolet's crate engine lineup, as already mentioned. The story behind the creation of the ZZ632 is just as interesting as its performance specs. In the late 1980s, Ron Sperry developed a unique cylinder head design with symmetrical ports, intended for use in pro-stock drag racing. These heads were groundbreaking at the time, offering exceptional airflow capabilities that could have revolutionized drag racing. However, by the time the heads were ready, in 1988, the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, had changed the class rules, rendering Sperry's design obsolete for its original purpose. While the heads were briefly available through General Motors performance parts, they eventually faded from use in the early 1990s. Fast forward to the development of the ZZ632, and Chevrolet engineers, including Alan Dew, recognized the potential of Sperry's original design. They were searching for a cylinder head that could deliver both high revving horsepower and low-speed streetability, qualities that Sperry's design could provide. Chevrolet brought Sperry out of retirement to help refine and optimize the heads for use in the ZZ632's larger 632 cubic inch engine, compared to the original 500 cubic inch Pro stock engine. These RSX heads became the heart of the ZZ632 engine, working in tandem with a high-rise single-plane intake manifold, a large EFI throttle body, and a crank trigger ignition system with LS-style individual coils. Currently, the only car in Forza Horizon 5 equipped with the 632 big block engine is the Fast X Impala, although its power is increased to an impressive 1,109 horsepower. The Chevrolet ZZ632 crate engine is definitely an impressive feat of engineering, meticulously assembled with the same attention to detail as Chevrolet's racing engines. This engine represents a balance between the traditional muscle of big block displacement and the latest advancements in technology, pushing the limits of what crate engines can do. But how does Ron Sperry's creation stack up against other big names in the automotive market, existing engines that compete with the ZZ632's ingenuity? When it comes to crate engines, there's a wide variety available, ranging from practical options to truly extreme machines. Some engines stand out due to their massive size, while others are known for producing outrageous amounts of power. The ZZ632 certainly belongs in the latter category, as it boasts 1,004 horsepower. However, it isn't the first crate engine to reach such levels. In 2019, Mopar's Elephant engine was introduced with an even more jaw-dropping 1,100 horsepower. However, the key difference between the Elephant and the ZZ632 lies in the way they achieve their power. The ZZ632 is naturally aspirated as stated earlier. This gives it a few significant advantages over engines like the Elephant, which uses a supercharger to boost power. A naturally aspirated engine has a simpler design and requires less maintenance since it lacks the additional components that come with forced induction. The ZZ632 is also lighter, with a shipping weight of 740 pounds compared to the Elephant's smaller 6.2-litre Hemi, which weighs over 870 pounds. The absence of a supercharger also means that the ZZ632's engine sound is pure and unaltered, without the characteristic whine of forced induction systems. This makes the ZZ632 one of the most powerful naturally aspirated engines ever produced, a distinction that helps keep General Motors competitive in the ongoing horsepower wars between the major American automakers. With 1,004 horsepower and 876 pound-feet of torque, it compares favorably to Chrysler's Elephant, which produces more torque at 950 pound-feet, but matches it in horsepower. The ZZ632 also significantly outperforms Chrysler's smaller Hemi-crate engines, like the one found in the Hellcat, which generates 707 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. Only the Don Schumacher racing version of the 426 cubic inch Hemi exceeds the ZZ632, boasting 1,150 horsepower and 974 pound-feet of torque. On the Ford side, things are equally competitive. The 5.2-liter supercharged Predator V8 crate engine used in the Mustang Shelby GT500 makes 760 horsepower and 675 pound-feet of torque, a far cry from the ZZ632's power levels. Even Edelbrock's supercharged version of Ford's 5-liter Coyote engine, with 785 horsepower and 660 pound-feet of torque, falls short. However, Ford does have a notable rival in the Godzilla engine. The naturally aspirated 7.3-liter Godzilla engine produces a more modest 430 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, but custom versions with superchargers can push output up to 1,000 horsepower, bringing it close to the ZZ632. Another close competitor in the drag racing world is the 615 cubic inch engine from Shafarov Racing. While this engine is slightly smaller in displacement than the ZZ632 with 10.1 liters compared to 10.35 liters, it still delivers over 925 horsepower, making it a force to be reckoned with on the track. However, like the ZZ632, this engine is primarily designed for drag racing and isn't suited for street use due to its immense power and size. GM's progress with electric vehicle engines. Looking at General Motors' broader legacy in the automotive industry, it's clear that GM has left a lasting mark with its performance engines. The company's plans to transition to electric vehicles by 2035 for its light-duty vehicles remain on track, although they acknowledge that consumer preferences will ultimately guide this shift. According to the company, the path to full electrification was never going to be a smooth, linear process. Tesla still holds a commanding presence in the market, with nearly half of the EVs on the road in the United States bearing its badge, but its market share is gradually shrinking. GM, on the other hand, continues to expand its EV lineup, with 9 all-electric vehicles already available and 4 more set to be released. The company appears determined to close the gap and become a more competitive force in the EV market. A prime example of GM's efforts in the electric space is the upcoming Cadillac Escalade IQ, an all-electric luxury SUV priced around $130,000, with a range of at least 460 miles per charge. The Escalade IQ comes equipped with advanced features like Super Cruise, a semi-autonomous driving system that allows for hands-free driving on many roads. The luxury, power, and technological advancements of this vehicle signal GM's commitment to the high-end electric market. The company's testing and innovation are largely centered at GM's century-old Milford Proving Ground in Michigan, located 45 minutes from Detroit. This site, spread across 4,000 acres, serves as the heart of GM's engineering, testing, and evaluation efforts. Historically, this facility has been a center for groundbreaking developments, including the auto industry's first rollover test and the use of crash test dummies. At the Proving Ground, GM continues to fine-tune its vehicles. Engineers, like Corvette's executive chief engineer Tony Romer, work on cars like the new Corvette ZR1, with 1,064 horsepower and a top speed exceeding 200 miles per hour. The ZR1 is the fastest Corvette ever produced. Romer, who regularly tests these high-performance vehicles, helps ensure that every detail, from handling to the signature sound of the Corvette's engine, is perfected. In fact, The team behind the ZR1 goes through up to 60 different iterations of the engine's sound before landing on the ideal note. This level of precision shows how important tradition and innovation are to the Corvette brand. Despite GM's ambitious plans, many Americans remain hesitant to fully embrace EVs, largely due to concerns about range and access to charging stations. Electric vehicles made up just 8% of new car sales in the US in 2023, and government subsidies meant to speed up adoption have sparked political debate. Some critics argue that the push for all-electric cars within the next 6 years is unrealistic, particularly given the infrastructure challenges. Still, GM remains confident in its ability to move quickly enough to remain competitive. The company's workforce is relatively young, with many employees joining specifically because they want to be part of a company leading the charge toward a more sustainable future. The continuous evolution of GM's creativity. As GM's second longest-serving CEO, Mary Barra is in no rush to perfect her legacy. She remains focused on steering GM toward its ambitious goals. And as the company is steering towards electric vehicles, they haven't completely abandoned the internal combustion engine. In fact, GM continues to keep its heritage alive with its powerful crate engines, despite discontinuing the 755 horsepower LT5 engine in 2021. This move initially worried car enthusiasts who feared the end of GM's iconic high-powered engines. However, GM has proven its commitment to the internal combustion engine by introducing the ZZ632. Before the ZZ632, General Motors was already a dominant force with engines like the ZZ572, known as the King of Rats. This engine, designed primarily for racing, generates a massive 727 horsepower and 680 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful big block crate engines ever offered by GM. The ZZ572 quickly became a favorite for large restoration projects and high-performance applications, solidifying its place in GM's lineup of legendary engines. Another standout in GM's history of crate engines is the LSX 454R. This engine was designed with durability in mind, especially for drag racing, producing 770 horsepower at 7,000 RPM and 612 of torque at 5,600 RPM. The LSX 454R demonstrated that raw power and longevity could go hand in hand. GM engineers tested the engine using an electric dynamometer to simulate quarter-mile racing conditions, validating its durability and ensuring it could handle the rigors of high-performance racing. During testing, engineers simulated a race car running mid-9-second quarter-mile times with a 2-speed Powerglide transmission. They started the engine from idle, ramped it up to wide-open throttle for 2 seconds, and simulated a transmission brake at 4,500 RPM. This rigorous testing helped guarantee that the LSX 454R could withstand the stresses of competitive racing, further cementing GM's reputation for building reliable, high-performance engines. Therefore, the ZZ632 is a natural continuation of GM's long-standing tradition of excellence in engine design. It builds on the legacy of iconic engines like the ZZ572 and LSX 454R, combining modern technology with the raw power of a big block V8. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.